have had this whole week is, why doesn't God interfere in his physical universe more often? Why are there not more miracles? Why aren't they common? Let me give you a few reasons. One is, our entire science system is built on the fact that God doesn't interfere. Because God has established his laws and his rules of the physical universe and lets them run, we can have things like airplanes and electricity and weather forecasts. And even more than that, because he has a consistent universe, we can study it in even more amazing ways. And the more you study his natural revelation, the more majesty you see in him and the more you can worship him. So the one reason he doesn't do a lot of miracles is actually miracles would lead to fewer opportunities for worship than non-miracles do. A second is that it would eliminate faith. The book of Hebrews says, without faith it's impossible to please God. And if everybody who was a Christ follower walked around in this protective bubble that nothing bad ever happened to them, if all the tornadoes went around them, it wouldn't take any faith to be a Christian, which means people wouldn't be actually Christians. But finally, one of the biggest ones is that God wants to use those problems in our lives. We talked about James 1 earlier in the week, where it said, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. Joy. Why? Because you know the testing of your faith produces perseverance, and let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. In other words, God wants to take all these things, all these problems in your life, and work them for good. He does that by renewing your mind. He does that by drawing you closer to himself. He does that by doing incredible stuff, something that couldn't happen, stuff that couldn't happen, if he short-circuited every physical problem that ever came into our lives. If his goal was to make us safe, it would be harder for him to make us holy. And his goal in our lives is not to make us safe, it's to make us like Christ. And he does that by allowing the problems into our lives so he can work in them, so he can work through them, and so he can be all in all to us. That's today's Jumpstart. Hey, if you're liking the Jumpstart, make sure you subscribe. On YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel, and it'll keep you up to date so that you get updates every time there's new material available on the Jumpstart.